Now with our Channel 7 playoff analyst Bill Buckner. You agree with Peter Gammons, who wrote in the Boston Globe this morning that Dennis Eckersley may very well have just put together the greatest relief year ever by a relief pitcher?
No doubt about it. That is the greatest year that I think a relief pitcher could ever have. Just fantastic. He's got everything that you'd want in a short reliever. He doesn't walk anybody. He can throw strikes. You can bring him in with the bases loaded and not worry about him walking somebody in. Just outstanding control. You know, he throws the ball right where he wants to, gets the ball on the ground, sinkers the left-hander. He's a little bit tougher on right-handed hitters, and the Red Sox do have a lot of right-handed hitters in the lineup, but I think the best attack against Dennis Eckersley is you got to jump on that first pitch because he gets ahead of you. He doesn't like to walk you. He'll tell you right out there on the field now, hey, I'm going to get ahead of you. So you got to go up there ready to hit the first pitch.
If you're choosing a closer to go into war with in a 7-game series, you can choose from Lee Smith, Jeff Reardon, Doug Jones, Bobby Thigpen, or Dennis Eckersley. Who does Bill Buckner take into battle?
That's quite a cast to pick from, but without a doubt, you got to take Dennis Eckersley. Nothing against Jeff Reardon. Jeff Reardon probably been, over the last 10 years, probably been the best relief pitcher. He's leading in saves and just been an outstanding pitcher and has done a great job for the Red Sox this year, and I really like Jeff Reardon. But Dennis Eckersley, in the last 3 years, is in a class all by himself.
All right, Bill Buckner, thank you very much. We're going to take another quick time out here, but only after we check in again with, yes, Eddie Andelman and his people outside the ballpark. Eddie, take it away.
All right, John Dennis, and we have right here for you Fenway Frank. How you doing, Frank?
The best, the best. This is the series before the series. We're going to win it.
Do you believe?
I believe. I believe.
You know, Frank was telling me before we came on, John, that there's still a little curse of the Bambino that he's worried about. What are you going to do about it?
Well, right now, soon to be a collector's item. They're selling this little trinket in the souvenir shop, and you shake it, rattle, and you say, I believe! I believe! This is the year. 1990, the year the world champion Red Sox. Believe it! Believe it, Eddie! Believe it.
All right. Well, I got to tell you something. Here's one Fenway Frank I wouldn't want to take a bite into. I'll tell you that. And we're going to go right now to a couple of commercial breaks, and we'll be back with more of Dare to Dream.
I don't know. Come on, listen to me. With Centrex, you won't have to worry about PBX hardware or DID trunks.
And we can still control line activation, deactivation, and feature reconfiguration?
Right. With Class, you'll have terminal access for your moves, adds, and changes.
And you're sure it'll be ISDN compatible?
Positive. Centrex is CO-based, so it conforms to ISDN standards and supports integrated voice and data.
Good.
We're the one for you, New England. New England Telephone, part of the 9X family.
In the 90s, conservatism will be dominant.
Lighten up.
Fun will become the exclusive province of the rich.
With a Pontiac Sunbird, you can afford fun. It gets great mileage, and Sunbird doesn't cost a lot either.
The market for exciting things will be quite bearish.
Bullish. You can have it all in a Sunbird.
For America and professional sports to think that there are no gay men and lesbians in sports, they're just fooling themselves.
Once it started becoming known that he was gay, he feels that players, managers, and the league itself really conspired to get him out of baseball.
As far as anyone in baseball is concerned, I'm complete outcast.
Dave Pallone, a former Major League umpire from Watertown, on the double life of gay men in professional sports. On Our Times, next Saturday at 7.
My father died when I was young, so I had it very tough on myself. I had to grow up very young. My mother had to work 2 or 3 jobs. It was tough on her. It's tough being a kid right now, no doubt about it. You guys all come from different sorts of families and different upbringings and different ways of life. You're going to catch a break. Those breaks are going to come your way, and when they do, then you got to keep your head up and you got to keep going forward and keep going on. It has to do within and believing in yourself.
The Boys and Girls Club believes sometimes all a kid needs is a chance.
Welcome back to Red Sox 1990 Dare to Dream. You know, for 6 weeks of spring training, 162 games of the regular season, and now the build-up to the playoffs, we've heard nearly every fact and every stat and every morsel of information about the Red Sox. But the people we never see or never know are arguably just as valuable to the club's success on the field as the players themselves. I refer, of course, the Red Sox wives. Yesterday, I visited the Greenwell and the Lamp families away from the ballpark. We call this story The Homestand, as told by Janet Lamp and Tracy Greenwell.
Well, who am I making this coffee for then, anyway?
He's mellowed, period, since I met him. I mean, because I met him young, and he was very high-strung and high-tempered, and he's still all those things, but half of what he used to be.
Rough night, huh, Bo?
If he doesn't have a great game and he comes in the house, I'm like, hi, how are you?
Good.
Fine. And if he wants to talk about it, then we talk about it. Some nights we sit up and we talk about it all night long, and sometimes he comes home and he's had a bad game and we don't talk about it. But he's a lot better since we've had children than he used to be. He used to wouldn't talk for hours and hours. Yeah.
It's his first meal. Look at this.
Gonna drink the milk. Daddy taught you to do that, right, honey? Not Mom? We've always been a real vocal family. If we're mad, we're screaming and hollering, and now that you have a child, you can't do that because they're like, Mommy, what's wrong? What's wrong? And so if we get mad at each other, we run upstairs for real quick and have our little argument, come back downstairs, and Bo's just fine.
Did they kiss? Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
The mornings when Mike is at home are probably not that much different than mornings at your house, right up until the time the newspaper arrives.
Well, Mike was doing really good. It's easy. You can pick up the paper and everything's really positive, but when he wasn't doing really well, then it was hard because it was hard on him. And you'd pick up the paper every morning and there would always be something about your husband in there, and it's hard in that sense, but Mike handles it pretty well.
But make no mistake, Tracy Greenwell is not complaining. This transplanted Floridian enjoys New England during the baseball season, and she feels blessed that Mike's income allows her to stay home and raise 2-year-old Bo. But even life in the bigs can have its drawbacks.
The downside is them being gone all the time. Not all. I'm a one parent most of the time. For six months, 3 of those months, I'm a mother and a father, and that's really hard. Bo, don't get in that water. I'm my own person. I do have a name. I'm not Mrs. Greenwell. That's Mike's mother. I'm Tracy. But I kind of understand, you know, because you meet so many people that it's hard for them to remember everybody's name. So they will link me to Mike. But I don't really get irate about it like a lot of people do. But I am my own person, and he's his own person. And that's what makes us a good couple.
When the Red Sox are playing at home, that means Tracy and Bo head for the ballpark, and the reassuring smile of Al, the official wives' welcome wagon.
He picks Bo out of that car every night, and every night when we leave, if he's there, he takes me. He just loves Bo to death. He's really good.
He makes you feel comfortable?
Oh, yeah. I feel very comfortable at Fenway Park. I've never had really any bad experiences. In all reality, we go because, you know, Mike has gone so much from the house, from us, that when he is home, we want to go to the games and see him and see everybody else and all their kids, and you know, because they're gone. If they played 162 games at home, I definitely wouldn't go to every game. But since they're here only half the time, then I enjoy going.
Unlike Tracy Greenwell, Janet Lamp has been going to Major League ballparks for more than a dozen years to watch her husband Dennis pitch.
Well, I really think that for me, since he is not an everyday player, it's probably pretty social. The wives on this team, great bunch of girls. The bunny. Well, this is an after Easter bunny. Right, Caroline?
Back home on the South Shore, Janet, with 10-year-old Hillary and 6-year-old Caroline, take the independent course of action when Dennis is on the road or away at spring training.
I do have to do a lot of things alone with them, and I do that. I took them to Nantucket for a week this summer, and we had a great time, and I can't stay home because he isn't home. I can't not allow them to have a summer vacation.
His name's Devil.
No, I thought it was Foo-Foo. I don't think they'd take too kindly to their names getting changed every day.
I thought they looked confused just because no one ever pays attention to them.
The older you get, the recollections you have of your own childhood. I remember 3 of us being stuffed in the back of my dad's Impala, and no air conditioning, no seat belts, nothing. But that was our summer vacation, and we drove to North Carolina, where he's from. But I remember those times, and in the summertime, that always occurs to me that we've never had a summer vacation.
I can go high.
I know you can. How much junk have you got up in that treehouse, Hillary? Junk. Rabbit food. Rabbits can't climb that high.
The Lamps have sampled the American pastime in Boston, Chicago, Oakland, and the Canadian version as well.
In Toronto, we had all our World Series clothes bought, and we had to return them all because we couldn't justify the price tags when we weren't even going. So I don't think they know that much about baseball, really. They wouldn't agree with me. But when they're yelling to the umpire during the league championship series, "Hey, Al," because they see the AL on his cap, and they don't know. They think that's his name. So my opinion was formulated then.
It's a mistake Janet Lamp knows would never be made at Fenway Park. Janet Lamp and Tracy Greenwell, thank you very much for your hospitality. Your men are indeed lucky men. Make no mistake, these are not just ball players' wives. They're contemporary, independent, and productive women who just happen to be married to Major League Baseball players. Billy Buckner, do you agree that the wife of a Major League ball player deserves an extra reward in heaven for putting up with all the trauma and the turmoil and the mood swings that come along with life as a pro?
I know my wife definitely deserves an extra award. I was one of the players that had a tendency to take the game home with me. I did get better the last 10 years that I played. It was difficult. I would take the game home with me, and I would take it out on her a lot of times, and it was not something I was happy with, but it was just something that happened. And Jody was great. She helped me out. She got me going, and a lot of times she didn't put up with it. She said, "Hey, you know, I didn't make the outs. I didn't lose the game. Don't take it out on me. Why don't you go out tomorrow and play a good game?" And she turned it right back on me and make me, kind of quit sulking and get back out there and play well. She was great. She really helped me. But it's difficult. As Tracy said, the wives are the mother and the father, for basically 7 months of the year. And they're responsible for, taking the kids out all the time, and it's difficult. Especially, the last couple years of my career when I was being traded or released during the season and had to make moves, and they're responsible for taking the kids out of school, packing up the bags, and getting everything shipped out to the new city. And whereas the player, it's easy. It's a transformation. Going you just go to the ballpark. In 5 minutes you make friends with the 24 or 25 guys in the team, and you're at the ballpark, same hotels on the road, and it's an easy transformation for the player.
And for all the work they do and for all they provide for you, one of the unfortunate things is that they happen to be Mrs. Bill Buckner. In other words, Jody, to a lot of people who don't know you well, is Bill Buckner's wife, and Tracy Greenwell is Mike Greenwell's wife, not Jody Buckner by herself and Tracy Greenwell by herself. Not really fair.
It really isn't, and it depends on the individual wife, though. And my wife, she was an individual all along, and it helped me. But it's difficult. It's hard to explain unless you go through that situation. I know that they have to take all the frustrations from their husbands, but they don't get the rewards of being out in front of the fans and the cheering and getting the base hits and so forth. They just get mostly the frustrations.
All right, Billy Buckner, thank you very much. We come back. Gary Gillis is going to answer that all-important question of what time is it? Well, the answer is it's hammer time. Gary will explain how that relates to this baseball matchup. But first, another check-in with our roving reporter, Eddie Annleman. Eddie?
Thanks very much, John. And all those players' wives are getting all that attention, so I thought I'd bring the fabulous Judy here, who doesn't know diddly about baseball. Who's going to win, hon?
Oh, the Sox are going to win. I believe in Roger.
All right, and of course we have matching hats with a couple of the year. And here's a man that I like very much because he won't go anywhere without carrying his television set tuned to Channel 7 all the time. What's your name?
My name's Ralph Marino from Winthrop, and I've been my teens in '75, the Roaring 20s in 1986, and into the 90s. At 30-something, the Red Sox are going to do it this year. Yeah! Yeah! I got my good luck charm from Busty Hart in 1986. We had a great time after we clinched the ALCS in '86, Eddie, and if you want to come along this year, you're mighty welcome.
Why do you watch the game while you're at the ballpark?
Everybody wants to see the replays. They turn around to the scoreboard. I get it right here in front of me at 10 different angles. So,
just quickly on a note that makes me personally to tell you what it means to Red Sox to all of New England. My dad had a pacemaker put in, came out of anesthesia this morning at the Beth Israel Hospital. Upon waking, the first thing he asked, how did the Red Sox do? All right, we're going to take a little break right now. And, Dad, they're going to win it, and we'll be back.
Yes. Woo! Yeah, number one.
Usually, when flying for the company, you have to book a coach ticket, which means you sit here and coach, because that's their corporate travel policy. With Eastern's new corporate rates, you book a coach ticket, pay a coach price, and fly in first class. This is our corporate travel policy, and we think it's going to be pretty popular. That's why we doubled the size of our first class cabins. Eastern's corporate rates